My name is Gianni Russo, a.k.a. Carlo, the infamous son-in-law from The Godfather. I'm now known as the Hollywood Godfather, and this is my story.
Before all of the wins in my portfolio, I was a little boy diagnosed with polio. Experimenting with cures, I tried every one. Felt everything in my right, but my left was numb. Walking with a limp, like will I ever run? Once again, or is this it? Am I forever done? Living in the hospital was never fun. Some people were cool, but not everyone.
Welcome, everybody. It's time for another Hollywood Godfather podcast, and I couldn't be thrilled with the subject matter of this show. My friend, and I could say he's my friend, and I'll explain it to you later. He's been my friend for 39 years, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, this whole show is about his second inauguration and what went on and all the promises he's kept so far in the 24 hours he's been in office. But before we go any further, our gorgeous co-host, Jeannie Raymond. How are you, man?
Hello. Gianni, I'm so excited to do this because I can honestly tell you, I know I'm old, I should have by now, but I've never sat and listened to president speeches and stuff like that. And so I'm especially excited because I did listen to this, preparing for the show, and I really loved hearing all of that, seeing it, watching the choir come in and sing. It was fantastic. So thank you for inviting me to talk about this because it's some exciting stuff. I'm really excited to talk about it.
You know, the interesting thing about this guy is that, you know, everything he said, and I've known him for a long time. I knew him from the first presidency. I mean, he is a little nuts. We know that. He doesn't.
So are we.
Well, yeah, I know, but we're not presidents.
Right,
we're not running countries. But it's a situation where the man is real. You know,
Right.
he's real, and that's what I like about him. You know, I was at Mar-a-Lago in the end of last year for
Right.
5 days straight, and you know, Steve Wyckoff, who introduced the whole panel, he's a close friend of mine. Steve Wynn was. I mean, everybody. He's bringing everybody together, and figure out how many he's had. Every major billionaire in his meetings. He's had meetings with China already. So, I mean, without any further ado, I mean, I think what he said, I think it's so much better inside too, because you never saw him outside. But
Well, it's funny you say that, Gianni, because I thought they said because of the weather, and I thought, I want to hear what he has to say. If I was sitting there, not that I don't think they're doing what they can to try and protect him, but the thing that happened a while back where he was shot, I just think, so everybody can sit and enjoy what it is he has to say. The peace of mind that came from being inside,
I think personally they used the weather as an excuse.
I wondered about that
I
myself.
think it was for the security. But I think, and everybody I spoke to, they loved what it was. I mean, they had enough people in there. I mean, the place was packed. But I gave it more warmth. The only thing that really bothered me a little was the vice president's 3 children crawling all over everybody and pulling hair. I mean, they should have controlled those kids a little bit better. But anyway, that
just shows he's a real person, But
well, that's what I said. It made him look like a grandfather, and he was reacting to them, and
right.
So, with that said, maybe I should just take that statement out. But I was so overwhelmed and moved. You know, years ago, I was, in fact, it's one of the second photographs that we're going to be showing on our site, or everybody's watching it on television. They're going to be edited in. The first one is him being sworn in, obviously.
Right.
Him being Trump. But years ago, when I got involved in getting JFK elected in the small way that I did, was all Sinatra. So when they invited Frank Costello to go to the inaugural, there was no way he was going. He said, "You want to go?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go." And I was there. I was like the 10th row from the podium. And, they had Dwight D. Eisenhower, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Ronald Reagan, and JFK being sworn in. I couldn't believe this.
Yeah, it had quite an audience today as well. And like I said, I've never watched it, but it was impressive to see the amounts of people, and these are important people that filled that room. So it was
Oh, no, it was insane.
incredible to watch.
But so that's the first time you watched one of these.
Yeah.
You know
Hey,
what I
Gianni,
liked about it? In
yeah.
the midst of it all, he sat down and signed like he said he was going to do. And then by the end of the night, he signed 200
Oh, wow.
into law. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I watched him, and there were so many things that I just loved it. I was just writing notes as quick as I could. They're dealing with service members and things like that. Where I work for the veterans every day, I love hearing the things that he talked about as far as what he was going to do for veterans and for people that were fired because of COVID stuff. And I just thought, you know what? I hope he keeps every promise that he possibly can.
Oh, he will. Oh, he
Yeah.
will.
I just thought, boy, that's impressive. And those were impressive enough things and important enough things that he was talking about, that those were top on his list, talking about the service members getting back pay due to, the COVID issues and stuff like that. And I thought, boy, it's so important. The one thing I thought of is this man is tried and true. He is in love with this country, and he's doing this for the right reasons. I'm sure he loves being
He's not doing it for any other reason that
right.
he is truly an American and wants the best for all of us.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
the thing that impressed me most, because I'm living in one of the most dangerous cities in the
Oh,
world,
absolutely.
they're funding the police again.
Right.
And they're
Bring it
getting
back.
rid of all. I mean, all these people are screaming and hollering. Why are we giving all this money to migrants and immigrants who don't belong
Right.
here? And they're all convicts. They're all, like they
Right.
said, all of the crime all through Europe has gone because they sent all their criminals here,
Oh, here. Yeah.
especially the Venezuelans. I mean,
Yeah.
so it. I'm going to say something now. My audience, and you're not going to believe our audience. You know who got me involved in politics?
Who's that?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, really?
Frank Sinatra started with Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I mean, this man has backed every major politician, mostly Democrats, but that's who he was. But
Right.
talking about even when I said I was at the ball, I mean, at the inaugural, Frank Sinatra produced the three balls for JFK.
Oh, really?
And all the stars came in and everything. I mean, to me, it was amazing to see what this guy did. And he's such a devoted,
Right.
patriot to this country. Sinatra was.
Well, so many movie stars now are getting up and stating their beliefs and whatever. I just don't remember. I know Frank Sinatra did support, but I never knew it to be super controversial the way stuff comes out now. It's
Oh, it's
always
never
such a
been.
mud throwing.
I mean, you had respect.
Exactly.
That's what's missing here. I mean, how they talk about the president at an open
Right.
mic, it's insane. And
Yeah.
the thing I read today, which I don't even know how many people know this, Elon Musk, he bought ABC television today and fired the whole view. They're gone. Nobody would get rid of them. He bought ABC television today for $390 million. I love this guy.
Wow. Wow. That's a big deal. I mean, he goes in and cleans house.
But when you think of the billionaires that were there and everybody who's been visiting them, down Mar-a-Lago. He's
Right,
ready to do what he's going to do. And I think, and I hate to say it because Jimmy Carter was just put to rest,
right.
Jimmy Carter gave the Panama Canal away for $1.
He was talking about, we're getting this back, and he really made a lot of great statements that I keep thinking, I hope people listen to what he has to say and watch what he can do. So many people just hate him because of this, or they hate him because of that.
Jealous of him, number one. He
Right,
speaks what he wants. I
right,
mean, women dislike him, they
yeah,
despise him.
right,
I watch all the CBS commentators, Nora O'Donnell, all they don't even want to mention his name. They hate him. And
exactly.
now they're stuck with him. That's it. I'm
Well,
going to see what happens now.
Well, right. And he talked about, I'm bringing back freedom of speech. It would depend on what channel you're watching, and Fox News is only showing this, or whichever. I shouldn't say just Fox, but they all have their favorites and only play that. So you don't hear some of the news that you would hear for the different parties. And so I did like that he said, there's freedom of speech is coming back and the censorship is going away, which I love that, because I want to know I can listen to something and hear, hopefully a true account of what's actually going on. And
Well,
the
I remember because I'm a lot older than you. When you turned on the news and you had Edward R. Murrow and Walter Cronkite,
right,
they told you the truth. Whatever they said, you can go to the bank with.
right,
Now, it's my opinion. Who cares about your opinion? How about the facts? What are
that's
the facts of what is really going on? Not
that's
what you
exactly
think and what you're told to say because you're far right or whatever. I mean, I'm so happy. I myself, for the last 2 years, was saying, I was very concerned if
oh yeah,
Kamala Harris or any of these idiots got in. I was ready to leave the country. I have houses other places, but I
right,
love this country and I didn't want to leave. And I feel so relieved now. And I know it's going to be great. And I know the economy is going to come back. And
right,
it's a breath of fresh air. But as I said, I got involved with JFK and I got involved with him for all the wrong reasons. But the thing is now we have a guy in the White House who I feel is what is supposed to
mhm,
be representing America. He's a true American. He doesn't need it. I mean, even his attempt of assassination,
right,
he's fighting. We fight. We fight. I mean, he wasn't worried about himself.
right.
That to me is a hero.
Right. It's funny because I look at my kids. Of course, I had 4 kids and was just working my butt off to keep them fed. So my kids are in a different situation than I was, but my kids have been always been more involved in listening to the president and what's going on. And I like that they kind of know what's going on. They have an opinion, and they know what they think is right, and they understand what a great president could do for the country. And I love that they're involved like that. And even my grandson knows who Trump is. As a kid, I
Well,
could tell
that's nice to hear because I don't know any, even I have a lot of children. I don't know any of them that are interested in politics. They're all interested in themselves or sports or
right,
whatever. And they don't realize you got to get involved because if you're going to vote, you got to vote,
right,
intellectually, not
right.
just because the color of their hair or you like what they said or what.
Or
It's
my
crazy.
favorite was years ago, they didn't really want to vote for Biden, but they just wanted to vote against Trump. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever
I
heard.
know. And
You know,
that's but and I mean, to me, I have to be honest with you. I was very on edge with this election
last election.
because everybody said they were going to vote for her. Well, even her party didn't vote for her.
You
Nobody
know,
voted for her.
the one thing after the election, I know, at work, who likes to, for the most part, and who not to talk about it in front of. But the next day I said to one of my friends, I was like, I walked by the office and I was giving him a little, I'm like, hey, we're in there, but was kind of just giddy that day. And I said, I'm trying really hard not to act too happy because I don't want to piss off anybody at work that wasn't. Or, I had a friend say, oh, that election really shook me up. And I thought, because you don't like him I like him. I think he's funny. I think he's smart. I think he brings such good things. He's not worried about party this or party that. He's worried about the country, which is what the president should be. And I love it.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the thing, I mean, he does speak his mind, and he's not so eloquent all the time. But
Me too.
he's a human being. We
Right.
can't be 24/7 saying what you want to hear.
Right. Well, and he's a businessman, and
Oh my God.
so
Thank
we've got
God he's a businessman. I think every politician,
exactly.
that's why I love Mike Bloomberg when he was the mayor of New York. And then, when he was going to run for presidency, you need a businessman. You don't
Yeah.
need some failure that's going to come in and do things that, it's craziness.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's a good time to take a quick commercial break and then we'll get right back to it.
Yeah. Well, this commercial break, I want to emphasize because I'm at Scratch. Scratch is on Division Street in New Rochelle. I'll be there this Thursday. This show you're going to be listening to right now. Tomorrow night, I'm at Scratch at 6 o'clock in New Rochelle. You can go on the website and buy tickets, or you can call 914-278-9650. Be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff what's in my show now. I have Donald Trump in my show now. So I'm going to take you chronologically through so many things, but I want to celebrate. And I would like anybody that's in driving distance to New Rochelle or public transportation, come to Scratch. Look it up. It's a hot place. In fact, I'm going to be there once a month.
Oh, nice.
They want me to be there one Thursday a month, and I'm going to be there. So anybody listening, try to get there. All right, we're back.
All right. Well, so like I said, I people, please don't hate me, but I did not. I was busy raising kids. I wasn't watching. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I didn't stop and watch the president. But I really enjoyed the presentation. I loved the choir coming through singing. I thought that was fantastic.
The show
Carrie
was
Underwood
amazing.
to come and sing. That Baron, I don't know how tall this kid is, but my gosh,
6'7".
6'7".
Yep.
That was it was wild to see him. Do you know how old he is?
I don't know, but I think he's just going into college, so he's got to be like 18, 19.
Yeah.
He's going to NYU here. I like what his mother said. She will be splitting her time with their home on Fifth Avenue, which is insane. 3 stories on top of, the Trump building.
Yeah.
But she wants him to have a normal life, and she wants him to come home at night. She doesn't want him at a dorm, and she's being very, very careful as a mother. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
Melania is unbelievable as a woman itself.
Yeah.
This time, finally, the media is going to give her a due. She was the only first lady ever not on a cover of a magazine.
Oh, you're
Did you
kidding.
know that? The first time around, they ignored her. That's how much they hated him.
Right. Well, that's terrible. What a beautiful lady. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. They're a stunning couple, which has nothing to do with running the country, but I look at his whole family and they all seem so impressive. And
Oh my God,
different than our last go around with the family members, but I'm excited. He seemed so at ease when he walked out. It was almost like he didn't seem like any bit of nerves whatsoever. I saw the Clintons walk in and Obama and everybody and George W. Bush. And I just thought
how about Michelle Obama don't even show up?
Right.
I mean, talk about rude and disrespectful.
I wondered what, I mean, obviously just to make, make us not a scene, but she just did it for no other reason. It wasn't like, hey, she didn't
She's
make up
not
a
going to
good
be
excuse.
told what to
Oh,
do. That's why she didn't go to Jimmy Carter's funeral.
oh
Or the,
my,
but to me, that shows her who she
right,
is.
right. That surprised me.
I am. That shocked me also. I'm
Well, I
shocked
mean,
that her husband wouldn't tell her she has to be there. You're an
what
ex-first lady. Out of respect, you should be there.
for him and for the position. Yeah, I thought about that and I thought, it is, there's certain things that you just, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't want to do sometimes, but
Oh, yeah.
that you do because it's the right thing to do. And I do anyway, going to funerals, going to things like this. I have a sister, she's always like, oh, I don't do that stuff. And I say, I know, but you should. But, there's,
It's interesting. What I was looking for last, last night. Every president had a catchphrase, and I remember because, as I said, I was at the inaugural for JFK, and in his speech, what was embedded in my mind, because he was another true American and loved his country, and he said, "Don't ask what your country could do for you, but
right,
what you could do for your country." That stayed in my mind forever, because
right.
we have to give back to our country. But I thought maybe he'd have one of those catchphrases. But when he sat down and started signing, that drove me crazy because I have a signature on.
Yeah.
It was so funny because talk about history, my mind. In May of 1989, I'm opening act for Don Rickles. And Sinatra got me the job because he was my singing teacher. Nobody believed it, but he was. And he said, you got to get some audience experience. So he got me a job with Don Rickles. And I was the opening act. And I'm at resorts in Atlantic City. So the opening act does a half hour. And then I get off. So the guard comes back immediately and said, Ivana and Donald Trump want to come backstage and see you. I said, yeah, and Dick Tracy wants to see you. He said, no, they're here. And there they were. And they came in, not just trying to show you the human part of
Yeah.
this guy. We've been watching you, and we're opening a new hotel February 1990 in Atlantic City called Trump Castle. And we want you to headline. I never headlined. And I made sure that I called every high roller that I had because I know how casino people think. It's
Right.
money. I brought more players in. But what impressed me was not only did he do that, but when I got off the plane, because I was living in Vegas at JFK Airport in New York, I counted 20 billboards with my name on it that I couldn't believe it. And why I'm saying it, I was at Mar-a-Lago not too long ago with him, and the guy called me by my name, Gianni. So great to see you.
Oh, I
I
love
have
it.
a friendship with this guy for 39 years, and I'm nobody. You know
Well, I wouldn't say that.
what I'm saying, the
No,
level that he's dealing with.
right.
But it just shows you how human he is. You
Yeah.
know, it's uh,
I
it's a
do
great
like,
feeling.
right. And I will tell you, I think back when he was, when I first started, and it's only been the past, I don't know, 8 years that I started listening to the radio stations and anything about politics. But I liked him because I could relate to him a little bit. I found his humor, which not everybody appreciates, but I just thought to me, he made it more enjoyable for someone like me to listen to. Made me want to listen to it.
It made
I
you
wanted to
human.
learn more. Yeah, because he didn't seem so uptight. So I don't know. There was just something about his
No,
personality that drew me in. And
no, but like you say, we experience the people prior. I mean, look at Biden. The guy didn't even know where he was. I don't know what drug he was on. He'd
yeah,
study and forget where he was. I mean, it's this
I
guy.
find it so
Why
sad.
I believe in him because it sounds like it's coming out of his mouth, and he's telling you what he really feels. Not that
Exactly.
somebody wrote for him or
Right.
speech writers.
Well, and I may have told you this story, but like I said, I just wasn't much into that. But I had a friend, and we used to drive around in the mountains, and I would listen to him, and I was like, I really like this guy. I could relate to him. He talked about things that, to me, it wasn't so bickering so much that people are picking things apart, but what he had to say made sense to me, made me want to listen to him. Now, I'm sure he has the exact opposite effect on other people, but I like his style, and I hope, I know he seems to me as a guy that tells you he's going to do something, and by damn, he's going to get it done, and I like that also, and yeah, he's not everybody's cup of tea as far as his
Mannerism, no.
mannerisms, but man, he puts his money where his mouth is, and I'm looking forward to that. You worry. I've got grandkids, you've got young grandkids, and you just think, where is stuff going? Another thing I figured is going to be have people in an uproar, where he talked about now there's two genders. That's that. He
That's
just kind of
it.
laid the law down on some stuff and said, we're turning this stuff back around. I loved it when he said, he talked about the external revenue service and government efficiency and no more social experiments. I mean, I was writing notes so fast, I thought I'm going to have to listen to this a couple more times because I thoroughly enjoyed listening to what he had to say. There wasn't anything that he said that I thought, oh, that's not a great idea. The other thing he said, I'm here to be a peacemaker. And I thought, hallelujah, you know, he
Well, the
just
one
had,
thing that caught my mind that he's pulling us out of the World Health Program. We donate
oh,
500 billion, I think, a year. For what? We just
right,
keep giving and get nothing back.
right. And there's people here with health issues galore,
Well,
you know,
you know better than anybody working for the veterans.
right.
They left these guys out in the cold.
Right. That's the one thing I thought, boy, I love to see him taking care of the people that are guarding this country. And I see him every day. And I mean, I'm proud to work for the veterans and I do it. I always, I've said from the beginning, so many people that I work with are veterans that work with us and now serving veterans. And I said, no, I didn't serve in the armed services, but I'm doing my best to serve all the service members that have gone through and the veterans now. And I do it with pride. I'm very proud of being able to do
Yeah,
my
but when
part
you
to help.
start, like you're saying, when you start think of these are the people that fought for our freedom and our rights, and now why do they have to fight to get into hospitals? Why do they have to do anything?
Right,
But they should be getting all the money.
right.
They
And
want
take care of.
budgets, especially in the Democratic states, not to get political, but they're giving all these vagrants. I mean, something that's very fresh on my mind, because two of my kids, fortunately, my kids are very successful. One lost an $11 million house,
Oh,
another one lost a $6 million house. And the governor, he transferred the water that was supposed to be in the hydrants to save a breed of fish. To save a breed of fish. They should put this guy and hang him somewhere. I
yeah,
mean,
I
it's
can't even imagine. There's so many mistakes that were made there. I heard a guy, I believe he was, oh, don't quote me, but I think he was a fireman or something to do. And he had talked about, cleaning that stuff up, all that dead wood and that's laying around.
All that budget was taken away.
Right.
That's why the fires are there.
Yeah. What do they call that? The wood that you start fires with? Oh, what's the
well, see, all the debris
right.
they went in and
Kindling.
cleaned it out.
Right.
He
Kindling.
gave all of that to the migrants. He gave all the money, he gave them all of that. But
right.
I hope they really put their foot down on that guy. Just
that, my goodness.
selfishly, but they're still burning those fires. They're still burning. That's
I
great.
can't even imagine. It's got to look like a war zone. You just look at it and it just makes you sick.
And one of my business partners, Franco, you were with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He lost Moon Shadows, burned to the ground. 40 years. Moon Shadows. I remember it myself. I love going there.
Yeah.
All those landmarks are gone for no reason.
Right. It's devastating. You mentioned something, and I just wanted to ask you. I don't know if you watch a lot of movies, but speaking of people and service members, there was a movie I watched, and I don't know if you watch Netflix or not. It was called The 6888. And it is one of the coolest movies I've seen in a long, long time. It was during World War II, the Women's Army Corps. And I'm telling you what a great movie. And the fact that these have come out recognizing these women that worked in there, it's truly a great show. You ought to watch it. If you want to feel good about being an American, that was pretty impressive show. And just getting to hear that the president saying he's going to go back and take care of the service members and get them back pay for what has gone on, and I thought, I love that he's taking care of the troops and taking care of that. Oh, it absolutely is.
Let's do another commercial.
Perfect. I was just about to say that. All right.
And again, I'm going to talk about Scratch. It's on Division Street, 26 Division Street in New Rochelle. I want you to call there. If you don't want to go on the website and make the reservation, I like calling people and talking what kind of table I want. But it's 914-278-9650. 914-278-9650. It's tomorrow night, Thursday night, the 23rd. Be there.
Well, we'll get on and blast it on the Instagram, fill that room. And then the exciting thing is you'll be there every month. That's fantastic.
Every Thursday. They want me. I love these kind of people.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, that's going to be great.
So I think, I mean, the last picture we're going to have up tonight, if you see it or go on the site, we're going to have 3 pictures up. We're going to have him being sworn in. We're going to have a picture of the JFK being sworn in, because I was there when I was 17. And then the last picture is going to be Melania and him at the last ball, the Liberty Ball, and saying goodnight after signing 200. And he said he would do it. He signed 200. And I'll tell you, one of the stupidest things I ever heard, which I can't get on Biden pardoned his whole family
how
yesterday.
Can they do that?
Now,
how can they do that?
But when you define the law, that means if they committed murder tomorrow, they're pardoned. They don't have any crimes. He gave them open pardon. How do you do this? This world is nuts. I think it's so crazy.
I do too. That to me seems like pardon people that maybe there was some controversy and they should be pardoned, but just your family? I'm like, how do you even do that? Well, he doesn't seem 100%.
But I want to see how long that lasts, because he also pardoned Dr. Fauci, who became a multimillionaire with Pfizer over the vaccine. I mean, this is going to be such an enjoyable run to see people finally get their due, and he will do it.
Right.
He will do it. And I know he's going, he fired 50 people today that lost Hunter Biden's computer and all the documentation. Fired them. They're doing an investigation, and they're going to find those tapes. And he's going back to jail, not back where he belongs, but in jail finally, especially for the deal he made with Iran. I go on and on and on and on, but
Right.
thank God we got the right guy in the White House. We're going to have
I'm happy
fun.
too. I really am. You know, the one thing he said, and I thought of you, Gianni, is that he said, you know, we're bringing back law and order. And I thought, you know, you hear about just crimes in the streets, people getting attacked. And here in Utah, we don't have it like you do there. And I thought, that's the number one thing.
I got attacked 3 times in the streets. Thank
Well-
God I am who I am. Forget about it.
Well, yeah, you carry a big stick, and I thought of that and I just thought, boy, that should be, people where you live should be thrilled, you know?
Oh, they are. We are already, believe me.
Right. Well, and the defund the police thing, I've thought of that and I thought, okay, all these people that think that's such a great idea, then even people that are idiots and are breaking the law left and right, if something happens and you need help, the first thing they do is pick up the phone and call 911. And they want the police to come and help them, but they don't want to be on the wrong side of that and get caught themselves. You know, I know a lot of police officers and I've never known one, probably because I keep my nose clean, Gianni, but I've never known bad cops and stuff like that. But I just, and I'm probably sheltered, but I just
Probably some out there. I mean, and
right. I totally
there's bad in every
good
group.
everything.
There's 1 or 2 bad apples that spoil for everybody.
Absolutely. But
I just got to say, like you're saying, I'm so happy he's in, and we're going to enjoy watching America become great again.
Exactly.
Financially independent. He's starting shale digging immediately.
Oh.
We're going to be independent for our own energy, like we were when he got in.
Right.
Everybody made millions and millions of dollars, and I hope all of them are going to jail.
The one thing he said is, he said, you can drive the kind of car you want to drive. And said to the people, our American made cars, we're bringing that industry where, you know, who did he say? I made a promise to the people of,
He's bringing it back to America.
Yeah. I thought, hallelujah. You know, why are we supporting something that's not supporting our country? Yeah. You know, I just think, I mean, I'm not saying
you got to buy American, made in America,
right?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I do like the fact that when it was all said and done, I just kept thinking, this guy loves America and he's fighting for this country, and it's no BS. That's exactly what he means. And for me, that was, I just really enjoyed listening to that. So thank you for doing this one today, because it's really.
And I think on that note, all our listeners, take a good look at what we have here. Don't compare it to anybody else. Protect what we have, and thank God Donald Trump feels the way he does about us.
Right.
I feel that way about him, and that's all I'm going to say.
Right. Even if you're not a supporter, you know, for those who do and don't, please support, you know, if you support him, you support the whole rest of the country.
All right. Good night. We'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds great. Have a good night.
Goodbye, my love. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
And that was that. But I'll be back.
No regrets, no complaints. Lived a life with no restraints.